From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, February 4th. Enjoy those relatively mild temperatures for this time of year today. Few dry hours because it's all about to change. This afternoon, rain moves in, making way for a cold front. Today, we're going to have highs in the upper 30s to low 40s, but again, that is going to drop out over the next few days. Okay, we start the podcast today with some big breaking news. You're some of the first to hear that the Big Ten tournament will be played here in Indianapolis next month. We're talking about men's basketball. Our sports director, Anthony Calhoun, got the scoop from his sources. He's always working. AC reports Lucas Oil Stadium will host the games from March 10th to the 14th. Originally scheduled in Chicago, they are moving here. The women's Big Ten tournament is already scheduled the 9th through the 13th at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Then a very quick turnaround as Central Indiana hosts the entire NCAA men's tournament, all of March Madness, starting March 18th. We do not yet know if fans will be in the stands for any of these tournaments. The county health director told us she hoped to have a decision about March Madness by February 1st. Well, now it's February 4th, so hopefully any day now. All right, let's get to some other news now this morning. 2 people are under arrest for a gun store smash and grab. A pair of twin brothers now face federal charges. Police say they drove a stolen car into 500 Guns. It was on West 16th Street and stole 9 guns. We actually reported on this the day it happened. 18-year-old Javion and Tavion Majors were arrested last Tuesday. According to IMPD, the 2 are known as accused car thieves from receiving tips in the community. Police say the brothers drove a stolen vehicle through the front of the building on January 22nd to get inside around 2 in the morning. A huge hole was left on the front of the building. That morning, we spoke to the owner who told us the damage was worth more than the guns that were stolen. No one was inside when the burglary happened. When making the arrest, investigators say they found 6 guns and a stolen truck where the brothers were staying. Police also arrested a third man. 20-year-old DeAndre Allen is facing a marijuana possession charge. Investigators say that the arrests are part of Operation Legend. It's an initiative to reduce gun crimes. And today, the visitation for 4 of the people killed in last month's mass shooting will be held in Indianapolis. Raymond, Kezzy, Elijah, and Rita Childs. It will be at the Crown Hill Funeral Home from 4 to 8 p.m. There's a private service scheduled for tomorrow. A visitation for Kiara Hawkins and her unborn baby is scheduled for Saturday morning at 10. Police say 17-year-old Raymond Childs III shot and killed the victims January 24th. He's set to be back in court on April 21st. State leaders are loosening rules for quarantining in schools. Starting Monday, students will not have to isolate or contact trace if someone tests positive. This will only apply if students and teachers are wearing masks. The rule does not apply if there's possible exposure in places like where lunch is being served and where people are eating, where masks are removed. State health officials say less than 5% of COVID-19 cases are actually linked to in-person learning.
Our goal throughout this pandemic has been to support our schools and protect our students, teachers, and staff as they continue to navigate in-person education. We hope that these steps will help to decrease the disruption that COVID-19 continues to cause in our educational system.
The state is also relaxing rules for the length of quarantine. A student or teacher will be allowed back in school if they isolate for 10 days. They only have to quarantine 7 days if they're tested before they return. And some Indiana teachers are anxious for answers about when they can get the coronavirus vaccine. The president of the Indiana State Teachers Association says teachers don't want to skip the line, but do want to know where they stand in line. The governor and state health leaders faced the question in yesterday's weekly briefing. Current guidelines focus on advanced age and soon will include people who already have other health problems that increase their risk of a severe COVID-19 case.
What do we say to teachers is we are looking at the folks who are most at risk of dying and or being hospitalized.
We've tried to be patient. As Indiana said, we need to get the most vulnerable vaccinated right away. And but as we continue to move on, we need to know and understand what is their plan for getting this fixed for our schools.
State health officials say they're currently getting 100,000 vaccine doses a week. This week, eligibility open to anyone 65 or older. And more than 1,500 coronavirus deaths will be added to the state's COVID-19 dashboard. The additional deaths come after a year-end audit of all COVID deaths. The state confirmed 1,205 additional deaths from 2020. They also identified 302 deaths from this year. The COVID-19 death toll for the state is now more than 11,000. Officials worked through death certificates from all of 2020 and matched them to a positive COVID-19 test. And today, the start of a study to see if different kinds of coronavirus vaccines can be mixed and matched. British scientists are studying this with 800 participants. Each will get one shot of AstraZeneca's vaccine and a dose of Pfizer's. Right now, if your first COVID shot is from Pfizer, your second dose also needs to come from Pfizer. Same goes for Moderna. The study is scheduled to run for 13 months. And a new study is narrowing in on the ages most likely to spread COVID-19. The study is in the journal Science. Researchers looked at cell phone data from more than 10 million people in the United States and found people ages 35 to 49 accounted for more than 40% of new transmissions through mid-August. 20 to 34-year-olds were responsible for 35% of cases in that same period. Researchers behind the study contend mass vaccinations of those ages could be key in slowing down the spread. Those ages are not covered under current shot strategies. A new letter from hundreds of congressional staffers asks the Senate to convict former President Donald Trump during his second impeachment trial. The letter says, in part, for our sake and the sake of the country, we ask that they vote to convict the former president and bar him from ever holding office again. Most of all of the 370 plus staffers who signed the letter work for Democratic lawmakers. The House impeached Trump for incitement of insurrection before he left office in January, and his trial starts Tuesday. The Secretary of Defense is ordering leaders to stand down and review how the armed forces handle extremism in their ranks. Chief Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said Secretary Lloyd Austin met with all of the military service chiefs and secretaries on Wednesday. Austin ordered commanders to have discussions with their troops over the next 60 days. The move comes after authorities charged at least 22 people in connection with the U.S. Capitol riot who are either former or current military members. And today the House is set for a vote that would remove Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee assignments. Right now, she's on the Education Committee and the Budget Committee. In recent weeks, leading lawmakers from both parties have heavily criticized the first-year representative for her open support for far-right conspiracy theories. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is denouncing all of Greene's controversial comments, but calls today's vote a partisan power grab. Another of the top Republicans in the House will keep her leadership role, despite calls from some to vote her out. Liz Cheney will stay conference chair, third most powerful position in the House. In a secret ballot, House Republicans voted 145 to 61 to keep her in the post. A vocal minority wanted her out because she voted in favor of the impeachment of former President Donald Trump. President Biden will deliver his first major foreign policy speech today. According to the White House, he'll talk about reclaiming America's role in the world and outline his foreign policy vision. The president is also expected to discuss a series of executive actions. The White House says Biden plans to thank people working in national security and explain how his administration will support the State Department.
Searching for a romantic summer getaway? Escape with Rich Girl Summer, the new Audible original from Lily Chu. The exquisitely talented Philippa Sue, returning to narrate her fifth Lily Chu title. This time, Philippa is joined by her real-life husband, Stephen Pasquale. Set in Toronto's wealthy cottage country, aka the Hamptons of Canada, Rich Girl Summer follows the story of Valerie, a down-on-her-luck event planner posing as a socialite's long-lost daughter, while piecing together the secrets surrounding a mysterious family and falling deeper and deeper in love with the impossibly hard-to-read and infuriatingly handsome family assistant, Nico. Caught between pretending to belong and unexpectedly finding where she truly fits in, Valerie learns her summer is about to get far more complicated than she ever planned. She's in over her head and head over heels. Listen to Rich Girl Summer now on Audible. Go to audible.com/richgirlsummer.
Indiana lawmakers are pushing a bill that would pay remote workers to move to the state. A grant program would even send a check to the people after living here for a year. So if you make $100,000 or less and live outside of Indiana or are a college grad, you would have a potential $5,000 benefit to help reimburse taxes and moving costs. If you make more than $100,000, it would be an $8,500 grant. The program is designed to attract new people to Indiana. After living in the state for a year, an application can be submitted with proof of expenses. State Representative Martin Carball wrote the bill. He says the concept of remote work has dramatically increased throughout the pandemic and has been evolving over the last few years. This is a bill to make a way to take advantage of what's happening and keep the local economy thriving.
When people come here and take a look at all that we have to offer, they really end up wanting to stay. And in fact, it's a great place to save money. It's a great place to raise a family. And, this millennial generation is now starting to expand with their families. Indiana should be the first place they look, and we're hoping to have this incentive bring them here.
Lawmakers are asking the Indiana Destination Development Corporation to administer the program. Carball is proposing it starts with $1.5 million for the first 2 years, $500,000 up front to establish and promote the program. Then in fiscal year 1, $400,000 for grants. In year 2, $600,000. The bill passed the House Committee on Commerce, Small Business and Economic Development. It now heads to another House committee for consideration. If passed, the bill would be effective in July.
Everybody's got to wear a mask, stay 6 feet, and just by doing that, it can save a lot of people, and where people don't have to suffer through pain where losing someone in life. And I know a lot of people know that feeling. When my dad was sick in the hospital, that was the longest 12 days of my life. Just sitting there not knowing each morning if he's alive. I want to tell people, this is serious, and this vaccine will save people.
What you just heard is part of a PSA that the Indiana State Department of Health is running during the Super Bowl. It features the son of the late Paul Logan, the beloved athletic director of North Central High School, who died in April from the coronavirus. The state paid more than $100,000 to run the spot. It will run all across Indiana during the big game. And 2 Kansas City Chiefs players are in COVID-19 protocol. They're the team's backup center and wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson. The backup center was getting his hair cut when his barber's test results came back positive. ESPN reports 20 players, including QB Patrick Mahomes, had an appointment scheduled with the same barber before Sunday's game. But none of those players did that haircut yet, and they didn't come in contact with him. Both players who did can still play if they test negative for 5 consecutive days. Kansas City's biggest star says football is not the only thing on his mind leading up to Sunday. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes and his fiancée are expecting, and the due date is soon.
We're extremely ready. We're excited. We have all the things planned out, and every single gadget and tool you can have to be great parents. But at the same time, I'm trying to tell her to hold off until after the game. But whenever it happens, it happens. But if we can wait till maybe a few weeks after the game, that would probably be ideal.
The couple announced the pregnancy on social media in September and later revealed that it's a girl. All right, now to business headlines. Americans plan to take an additional week of vacation this year. Can't blame us, right? Expedia says after so many of us didn't travel in 2020, people are ready to get out and see the world. Many Americans also have vacation days left over to take that rolled over from last year. Zoom is adding virtual receptionists for when people start going back to the office. Alexa support is also coming to Zoom Rooms, so joining a call is as easy as saying, "Alexa, join my meeting." Zoom Rooms is meant for meeting places such as conference rooms, and it starts at $499 per year per room. $499, that is. Bank of America has committed $15 billion to homeownership efforts through 2025. The effort, which first launched in 2015 as a $5 billion initiative, aims to help about 60,000 low and moderate income Americans buy homes. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley proposed legislation that would create a preemptive prohibition on acquisitions by big tech companies, including Amazon and Google. Hawley's idea mirrors a recommendation made last fall by Democrats on the House Antitrust Subcommittee, suggesting there could be bipartisan support, but it's unclear if Senate leadership will take it up. Lowe's is inviting couples to enjoy an evening of art with a side of romance at its stores nationwide called a Night of Lomance. It's for Valentine's Day, of course. It'll be held at Lowe's locations in 10 select metro areas for 50 lucky couples who'll get to splash, sling, and roll some paint on a giant canvas. You can enter for a chance to win one of the reservations at the Lowe's website. Finally, a female official will make history on the field at this year's Super Bowl. 34 years ago, another woman broke barriers in the broadcast booth. Sports director Anthony Calhoun caught up with that woman, Gail Sarins, in Tampa.
History will be made on Sunday when Sarah Thomas becomes the first woman to referee in a Super Bowl. Flashback nearly 35 years ago.
This is my spotting chart from the game.
This Tampa native made NFL history too. In 1987, Gail Sarins became the first woman to call play-by-play for an NFL regular season game when she called the Chiefs versus Seahawks for NBC.
I was a bit of a nervous Nelly when I did that game. I just wanted it all to be great because I was just so afraid of what the legacy for other women would be if I was awful. So that was heavy on my mind. But I just wish I wish we could have seen more women doing play-by-play sooner. I wish that it had been more of an open door sooner. But here we are. Now the airwaves are filled with female sportscasters.
Sarins, a diehard Buccaneers fan, made her way to the NFL national broadcast booth at just 33 years old. Today, she still stands among an elite handful of women to call the action on Sundays.
It's a sweet thing for me and my family. It's a really wonderful thing for women, women who particularly love sports and want to be part of that sports environment. I laughingly say, though, I really kicked that door down. It only took like 100 years later for the next person to do it. But, it is what it is.
Gail told me she was offered to do more games for the network, but was limited due to her position and promotion as a news anchor at a local Tampa TV station. That ride ended 5 years ago, retiring after 38 years of dedication, anchoring and interviewing the biggest names around the country.
I had a rock-solid contract that I was working with, and they were nice enough to let me do it. And two, I was pregnant. A whole new phase of my life was about to begin when I did that football game. And so I say this, that probably, had I not been pregnant, chances are I might be doing football games still today. Who knows? All I know is that I have 3 fantastic children. I have 2 amazing grandchildren. I have a great life in the town I grew up in. So it's not like I had a bad deal by not doing more games.
This trailblazer will cheer on her team on Sunday in Tampa, knowing more history up in the booth isn't far behind.
I go back to the wonderful Tony Dungy days, as you do as well. And these are times back then and now. These are the times that we will look back and we'll talk to our kids and our grandkids and say, so back when we were, playing in the Super Bowl, and that's a gift. That's a gift that all of us have as fans.
And again, that was our sports director, Anthony Calhoun, reporting there from Tampa. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.